Hey guys, welcome back to my vegan kitchen, and now it's going to be gluten-free. So I'm making some gluten-free bread today that's going to be so delicious. I know it's really difficult to find good gluten-free vegan bread. A lot of the gluten-free breads out there, they have egg in them to help the texture, and that doesn't do me any good because I need it to be vegan. So I've tried most of them out there. The ones that were acceptable were extremely expensive. So I'm going to help you guys out today if you find yourself in the vegan gluten-free camp, or maybe you're just gluten-free and you want to try something different. This is going to be delicious. I was pleasantly surprised at how good this is, how simple it is, how affordable it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my wet ingredients together. You don't have to do this in a mixer. You could definitely do this by hand because you don't have to knead it. You just have to make sure it's completely mixed. So I'm going to start off with 2 cups of water. And since we're dealing with yeast, make sure it's not hot water. And make sure it's not cold water because it's going to take forever to rise if you use cold water. So you want room temperature to a little bit warmer, but not hot. All right, to that we're going to be adding my sugar that I forgot to get out. All right, so we're using more flavorful ingredients because gluten-free flour is very, very, very bland. So we're going to use some coconut sugar to hopefully give our bread a little bit of flavor. We're using 1 tablespoon of that. We're also going to be using some olive oil in there to also give some flavor. If you've got a flavored oil that you want your bread to taste like a rosemary oil or something, or a garlic oil, go for it because it's only going to make it taste better. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of the extra virgin olive oil, EVOO. That which you know as EVOO.
I love seeing
the oil thing
in the water.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool.
And then we're also going to use our yeast, which is what's going to give our bread lift, so that it's not going to be just a tired old turd. We don't even have to mix that. Just a little agitation there. We just want the yeast to say, hey, I'm alive down here. You can use me. So we're going to wait until we see some signs of the yeast. I mean, maybe we'll mix it a little bit, right? Let's just give it a little mix. Because the yeast will really like the sugar. It says, ooh, nourishment. You're giving me energy.
So what kind of signs are we looking for?
We're looking for it to puff up and suck it up a little bit so that, well, you'll see. We'll check back in a minute. You can kind of see it already there. It's starting to look a little puffy. That's the yeast saying, yum, 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 yum. And then the yeast farts.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you asked. All right, so you can see it's farting. So, again, too small a slice. The bowl's too small. So I'm just going to put some of this in here already. This is my gluten-free 1-to-1 flour substitute. And we're going to put the flavoring ingredients in here. The first flavoring ingredient is going to be salt. And we're going to be using 2 teaspoons of salt. So the Himalayan salt will give it a nice flavor. So we're just going to stir that in a little bit because we don't want a big clump of salt. And then the second ingredient is not so much a flavoring, but it's going to not make this into a turd. The way you usually do a gluten-free bread is to put like xanthan gum in there or something like that, because that's something that's going to mimic very poorly gluten to like give it a little sponge, a little bit of, squishiness. When this hydrates with water, it turns into kind of like a goop.
Oh.
And that goop really holds the gluten-free flour together like a nice spongy bread. I was very, very skeptical before I tried this in the bread. I've had this in Pop-Tarts before, vegan Pop-Tarts, but this is the first time I've tried it in bread. And I have to say, I've already made 2 loaves of it, and it is phenomenal. But the thing is, this goops up very quickly. So you really want to do this, mix it in with the flour first, because otherwise you're going to get like pockets of undissolved goop, and that's going to be really unpleasant when you're eating it. So you want to make sure that this is whisked together pretty homogeneously, otherwise you're not going to like it very much. So as I mix this together, we're going to take the big bowl over to the mixer. We're going to get that started. You don't have to worry about gluten-free cooking, that it's going to make the dough tough by over-mixing, because there's no gluten in it. So the gluten never develops because it's not there, so you don't have to worry about how long you mix it. So
what a relief.
I know! Alright, so we'll just get this started mixing for a second. And we'll bring over our other bowl. And we're going to add this in like thirds. We're going to add a third of it, come back, add another third, and then the final third. Remember, mix it slow at first. You don't want the cloud of flour. You don't have to mix it very long in between. Just make sure it gets, incorporated. You can already see it's coming together. The psyllium fiber is really starting to gel up. And I have to say that is pretty much the perfect texture that we want. We don't want this too dry like a yeast dough would be, because we want this to be able to puff up as much as possible. So we don't want the dough to be tight. We want it to be loose, like a toothpaste. And we're ready.
All right.
We're ready to put it in our pan. We're ready to hurry up and wait, because the thing about this is it takes at least 3 times as long for this to rise as it would a regular yeast bread to get anywhere near the volume that you would with a yeast bread. So make this early in the morning. Put it in a warm place or in a proof oven for like 3 to 4 hours, and then you'll be ready to bake it, and you'll have fresh bread for the evening. All right, I scraped this down a little bit. You can see this is the perfect consistency that you're going for. So we're just going to dump this in our loaf pan, which I've lined with some parchment paper, and you're really going to want to press this into the pan because we want a solid loaf. And I would say to make the middle part a little bit less, like a skateboard ramp, because it's really going to rise from the center. So I would push it into the outside.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, not a ridiculous amount. Just enough so that it's going to be nice for a sandwich if you want to slice it, so that it will be the same height all the way through. So I would do that. And I have my oven on proof, which I believe is 150 degrees. And we're going to throw it in there for 3 to 4 hours, and we'll be back to bake it. All right, the bread has been rising for 4 hours at 150 degrees in the proof oven, and I'm going to pop it in the oven now at 465. I know it's a weird temperature, but it works. And this is going in for 40 to 45
it's a hot
minutes. Oven. I know, right? You don't have to put it on a stone. I just happen to have a stone there. But that's going in 40 to 45 minutes. We'll see you later for the tasting. All right, this was in the oven for 45 minutes. It's been cooling off for 2 hours, I guess. And yeah, it's not a giant puffy loaf of bread, but when I show you this texture, you're going to see what I mean about like it being spongy. When you let it cool off, don't let it cool off in the pan because it's just going to suck a lot of moisture into it and it's going to be not good. So you want to take it out of the pan and let it cool off. But this is a pretty good sandwich size. It makes a nice slice. It holds together really well. It's got that sponginess to it. It's kind of almost like a rye bread texture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fantastic. It's like the best gluten-free bread that I've ever had that was vegan.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've had a lot. I've tried them all. So we're going to let Maddie have some with a little bit of Miyoko's on there. Because, I mean, that's fitting, right? For the best gluten-free bread, we got to put the best butter on it. And that is the Miyoko's oat milk butter. Great.
All right.
All right, let's
Give it a go.
give it a go. All right, you got your butter on there.
Ooh.
Go for it.
All right, let's take a taste. Let's take a taste. It is currently 11:07 p.m.
Yeah.
Mmm.
It's got a great texture.
That's the winner.
Thank you.
It's not even toasted right now. It's great.
Right, it would be even better toasted.
Yeah, the texture is just
It's as close as you can get.
fantastic for gluten-free.
Yeah.
Mmm. Yeah, that's really good.
It makes a great grilled cheese. It makes a great peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a great crouton.
It's got a good taste to it, too.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of flavor. Like, a lot of the gluten-free breads don't have much flavor, and they're very crumbly.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, this one...
I'm pretty confident
Texture,
saying that this
taste.
is the best vegan gluten-free bread I've ever tasted.
I will support that.
I hope you guys give it a shot. It is super simple.
Yes.
It takes a little bit long for the rise, but it's totally worth it.
Oh, yeah, definitely worth it.
All right.
So thank you all so much for watching. Let us know in the comments if you guys give it a try. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.
Subscribe for more. It's free.
Yep. And until next time, thanks for watching. And much love.